In the future, when you do another workshop, you should do one on machine learning.
Oh, next time. Yeah. Okay. Can everyone hear me? Okay. And all right. So if all of you guys can hear me, I'm going to assume everyone here is for the Chrome extensions workshop. Cool. Okay. So before I talk about myself, I want you guys to go to this link, github.com/Kasimwani, that's my name, /readme. And that's going to be the repository you guys will check out for today. Let me know if this doesn't work. So just go onto that web page and I should share my screen. Okay. Does everyone here have access to the Zoom link?
Were you guys for the Zoom?
So I just learned how to do that. Okay, so I think you can go to Discord, the VT Hacks Discord, and it's in announcements. Yeah, it's the most recent announcements.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so just to show of hands, how many of you are not in the Zoom link? Okay, so everyone here is in the Zoom link. Okay, and you can all see my screen, right? Cool. Okay, and if you have any questions, just interrupt me. All right. So I have 30 minutes for this. I prepared the material for this like an hour ago, as you can see by the commit over here. So this is probably not going to be the most aesthetic Chrome extension, but the idea for this workshop is just to give you guys an idea of all the cool stuff you can do using Chrome extensions. And before I talk about other stuff, I just want to make sure you all have access to this link. I'm going to just put it up on chat. Okay, so you all should receive this link. And yeah, so just a show of hands, how many of you are CS majors? Okay, and Sam is the only one who is a CPE major. Okay, cool. So another question, how many of you are underclassmen, so freshman or sophomore? Cool, and you guys are juniors or seniors? Okay, nice. And has anyone here heard of LeetHub? LEETHUB. Okay, has anyone here heard of LeetCode?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just a shameless plug. I have two of these. So I'm assuming since you've heard LeetCode, you've also practiced LeetCode questions. You haven't, but you've heard. Okay, but you'll practice eventually. So LeetCode, you solve these LeetCode questions. What often happens is you try to save all your LeetCode questions in one place. And there's this Chrome extension called LeetHub, which automatically solves or saves your LeetCode questions on your GitHub repository. And it's super helpful for you to practice your coding interviews when you're interviewing for different companies. It's always nice to have like 100 to 200 questions or questions you've solved before, so you can always revisit them. And LeetHub is a Chrome extension that automatically saves your LeetCode questions onto your GitHub repository of choice. And if you want to install LeetHub, feel free to take the link. It's github.com/myname/LeetHub. And so LeetHub has around 9,500 users, and it has been used over 4 million times. So you're in safe hands. People have used it before. Yeah,
So is this something you created?
yeah, I made this. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I said it's a shameless plug. Cool. Okay. So actually, let me sit down. Okay, so for today's workshop, what we're going to do is, has anyone here any experience with Chrome extensions? Has anyone actually built Chrome extensions? Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is this Chrome extension I built like 2 hours ago, and it's super simple. All it does is just records or just analyzes or graphs, to be more correct, graphs your history for a particular web page. So say I am on my profile, github.com, and I click on the Chrome extension. So this is what you're going to be able to build within the next 20 minutes. There's this Chrome extension called README, which is over here, and you click on it, and it just tells you over the past 4 months, how many times have you visited github.com. So over here, it's like in January, I clicked on my profile or github.com 477 times, and sort of, you can interact with this. So that's what we're going to build. You go to like any page. So let's say I go to Twitter, and nice. And I click on Twitter, and this is the number of times I visited Twitter over the past few months. Now, you may be wondering, where's the data from March through October? And the reason for this is Chrome only stores, I guess Chrome on Mac only stores your data for the past 3 months. So, the API that we use would not have access to the data for the past 12 months. But, for the purpose of this experiment, like this should be more than enough. And everyone here would have their own, like, different versions of this. So if you guys want to quickly just, get the same experiment that I have going, what I would suggest is you go to the link over here, github.com/kasimwani/readme, and you click on code, or actually, everyone, can I assume that everyone here knows how to use the terminal? Okay.
No.
Okay, sorry. Cool. So what you can do is download zip. So click over here. So you download the zip and you store it wherever you want. README. And then you open it up. So it's over here. And then I open to the folder, and you should see this. So can everyone else see what I'm seeing when you like extract the zip folder?
Hey, Kasim, real quick, could you kindly go over the download file, please?
Okay. So, so you click on, okay, so you're over here, you click on code, and then you click download zip. It would download the folder, and you just sort of, wherever you've downloaded, just double click to extract it. Or if it's Windows, I guess right click and extract. I don't know how it works.
Gotcha, thank you.
So now you should see this, like you should see like a bunch of folders, subfolders within readme-main. Everyone else sees this? Cool, okay. Now you're gonna go to a secret place Google has for you. You type in Chrome /extensions, hit enter. Everyone here? Cool. Let me know if you can't find this. Yeah, so this right now works only on Chrome. So if you don't have a Chromium-based browser, I'm not sure how this will work for you. But yeah, I'm assuming you guys all have access to Google Chrome. Yeah, cool. So is everyone else here on this page? Okay, cool. So now what I want you to do is, so this is what you see right now, like developer mode. If you go to top right, it should be turned off for you. And I want you to toggle it to turn it on. So now you should see something like, you should have 3 buttons on the top left of your screen, load, unpack, packed, and update. Do you guys all see this?
Yeah.
Okay. And for those in the chat, if you can just give me a thumbs up so I know that you guys are seeing the same thing. Cool. Awesome. All right. So now I want you guys to click on load unpack. That's the top left button. And I want you to go to wherever you downloaded it, the folder, and I want you to select the entire folder. So don't double click or don't go into the folder. I want you to just select the entire folder. And I want you to hit select, and voila, that's it. So you have now installed your own Chrome extension on Chrome. And everyone here, can they all see this? Okay. And for those in chat, just like you can just say yes, because I actually realized I can't really see my chat properly. Okay. Cool. All right. So now what I want you to do is over here, this extensions icon, I want you to click on it and find the extension README. It has a spy emoji and just pin it. So I'm assuming everyone here knows how to pin an extension. So once you pin it, you should see it in the top, the top right panel. And yeah, so now that is the extension. And I want you to go to any website. So in this case, I go to Twitter. You can go to any website you want. You can do Gmail, whatever. And I want you to click on the extension. And if my code worked correctly, you should be able to get a graph. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm having a little bit of trouble. I'm a Mac user, switching Windows just because my Mac broke and I'm on
Okay.
another computer. I don't really know why some of my documents or files aren't showing up. They're not showing up. Yeah, I did.
I didn't even know that they did, so I probably would have stayed in position.
So I have this file, but when I go to like download. And I tried to like do that. So when you click on it, it gives you oh, really?
Okay.
Hey, Qasim, can you automate running an extension through a shortcut?
I'm sure there are ways to do it, but I don't, yeah, at the top of my head, I don't know how you would do it, but I'm sure there exists like
Gotcha.
some scripts you can run.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does it really record the amount of times that you clicked on a clickable thing? How does it do that?
Yeah, so I'll talk about it. Yeah, I'll talk about it now.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually, I totally forgot. I should get my iPad because I cannot.
Oh, it shows up like very.
Yeah, but like for
a second, I was like, wait, like, is there something? People hate the
Okay, all right, Zane, can you let me in? All right, I'm back. Okay. So I'm gonna share my iPad so I transition into. Oh, so before I do, did everyone here try out the extension?
Yeah.
Okay, who here hasn't or is unable to? Do you guys try it out? Cool. I'm gonna skip you. Wait, over here, did you guys all try it out?
Yeah.
Okay, it works, cool. So,
It definitely didn't update to the new year because I still get December and November clicks.
yeah, it's the past three,
Fiscal year?
yeah, it's the past 3 months.
Oh, interesting. Damn, okay. Let me go read the script for how you actually implement this. The code is in the JSON file.
One sec, let me just.
Read me, what have you been up to? That's fine. JavaScript file. Let me just load up the JavaScript file. Oh, sorry. Oh my God, I'm stealing your code. I have your code up right now.
Nice.
Oh, this is how you think.
Okay, I am stuck. uh, anyone? I need a Zoom. Oh yeah, do you mind helping? Oh yeah, okay. I'm good. Okay, I just figured it out. Yeah.
Dude, you're doing
Yeah, I know. I'm not. Okay, can everyone here see my screen? Cool. So I'm assuming everyone here can see my screen.
Are you supposed to join the Zoom as well?
Yeah, you're supposed to be in the Zoom. So, so I'm just gonna like for the next 5 minutes just talk about like the architecture for Chrome extension. It's super trivial. It took me 40 minutes to make what you guys saw, so you guys should be able to do it the same in like 30 minutes. But so here's how it works. So for a Chrome extension, so unlike regular apps, you don't the Chrome extension is an abstraction for the entire browser. It doesn't have access to the local machine. It just has access to some of the elements in the browser. So that could be your history. So the way we were able to actually graph that was by checking or searching your history when you were on that particular page. And so some of the permission or some of the things you have access to are your history, your Chrome storage. So that's like stuff that other websites have uploaded onto the local storage for your Chrome account. It has access to your Google account, just like very like basic info access.
What's the term called when a website allows like users to kind of manipulate data? Is it called API? What was it called? I forgot.
Wait, what do you mean?
Yeah, kind of, you have access to the functions of the website.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Qasim, if you delete the browser history, would that still be there? So it's
No,
not
no.
external?
So it would no longer. So you can try it out. Let's say you go to twitter.com and delete your history for the day for Twitter. And if you refresh the pop-up, it would no longer be there, unless I'm wrong. So yeah, you can run this experiment.
I'm gonna delete the Gmail history.
Okay.
Can you just delete history for one website?
I don't.
Okay, because
Probably.
it deletes everything.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to try out.
Okay, so going back to how it works. So the way, you don't have access to the Chrome extension doesn't have access to the entire browser. Like Grammarly has only access to the tabs. And what's unique about Chrome extensions versus using an app is that there's so much you can do with a Chrome extension in terms of how versatile it is. If you're like on, like any web page, you can immediately tell, like you have access to the data on that web page. So let's say in this case, in order for you to activate this Chrome extension, you had to click pop-up. But it's, there are other Chrome extensions, and I'll talk about my other work later, where you can perturb or change the text of other websites. So just like Grammarly, there's this icon in the bottom right page where it just shows you that icon. And when you click on it, it shows you a bunch of data about your text, your input text. And like there's a bunch of other things you can do with it. But for the purpose of this demo, in order for you to interact with the Chrome extension, you have to click on the pop-up. And the way this works is if you have worked with apps or even like websites, there's usually like a config file. In this case, it's so config is usually like a JSON file or a YAML file. In this case, it's called a manifest .json. And all this file contains is the configuration, the metadata, like who's the author, the description of the file, permissions to use, what pages are you accessing, and other stuff regarding this. And Chrome extensions in general have very little or have more privacy restrictions because there have been a lot of attacks in the past where people have stolen a bunch of data from your Chrome or just by using like some malicious Chrome extensions. One Chrome extension that I have been affected by, it was the Omegle like reverse IP looker. So you basically use the Omegle like Chrome extension, it tells you the other person's IP. And I use this in like high school, middle school. And everyone else can see my IP. And that's probably not, that's the design of the website, but the extension, but there were sort of nefarious attacks stealing people's IP, even when they weren't using Omegle. So that's not something you want to allow every developer to have access to. And do you have a question? Okay, cool. And so to do that, Chrome has built a lot of security layers around building more safe, reliable extensions from the engineer. And all of that is encoded in this JSON file called manifest.json. So if you go to the folder, the repository you just downloaded, and go to manifest.json, you should be able to see a bunch of information as far as the description, the permissions that I'm using, and something called extension pages, which you don't need to worry about it for now. It's just to tell the browser what type of data should I have access to without it flagging me for illegal permissions.
Now, Qasim, does the does the extensions absorption system know to look for manifest version name?
Yeah.
description?
So every time you upload a Chrome extension, it needs to have a very structured
Okay.
type of file system. And only then would it be able to allow you to upload it. So every Chrome extension, be it Honey, Grammarly, Omegle, whatever, Lead Hub for that matter, has manifest.json as one of its configuration files. And so, yeah, so that's like one of the things that it has access to. The other is what is called a popup.html and also JS. So what this does is when if you remember, you clicked onto the extension to get that chart has been created using two files, popup.html, which is the sort of the bare bones architecture, or the architecture for the structure for the graph, and you had a popup.js, which is where the intelligence, quote unquote, is placed. And for this demo, that's all we really need is a way to have, I'm just gonna, yeah, so that's all we need. We need some way of telling the browser what permissions to give us, the developer, and also what data what do we design the app? And so how do we showcase the developer or the user where the app is and how, the intelligence behind it. So that's sort of JavaScript. And I'm assuming everyone here knows a little bit about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Cool. So that's basically it. So that's sort of the entire, like, for this demo, that's sort of the architecture. And let me now reshare my screen. Okay. So you can all see my screen right now. Okay. So if I go to my screen, you can, yeah, so this is what I was talking about. You have the manifest file, which is just a bunch of configurations, and popup.html in this case is just, it's just the bare bones of the structure for the file. And so, yeah, so popup.js is where the true, the magic for this extension happens. And the way it works, I'm sorry for all the people on Zoom or listening online, but you're not going to get the best experience. But so this is how it works. Let's say I'm on a website x.com. Well, actually, I'll change it because, let's say I'm on git.com. Okay. And so this is my Chrome tab. I'm on git.com. And over here is the extension, right? So when I click onto the extension, how does the extension or the tab, whenever I click onto it, it loads up some like pop-up. How does it know that I'm on git.com, even though it's not like inside the website, it's like outside the website? So the two questions are, how does it know that I'm on git.com, and how does it know that I've been on git.com 200 times since January, right? So those are like two things we need to answer for us to be able to design this Chrome extension. And if I go to my screen.
So awesome. Does it just have access to constant IP address?
Yeah, so I'm gonna answer that. So the way this works is there is, just like you have APIs like the date API. Has anyone here used the date API on JavaScript? So it's pretty simple. So if I go over here and I go to, so if I go to my console, okay, and I do like date, and it just returns me today's date. Can everyone see this? Cool. Yeah, so this is like just one, method that you have access to. And there's another one, which for our interest is Chrome. So Chrome is this API that, you can interface with, and I'll send you, so this is where so this is the API reference for Chrome, and I'll send it in chat. And so, yeah, like for this, like since everyone here is a CS major, like it's pretty easy for you guys to learn new APIs. But all we're doing is, I'm just gonna like skip the boring stuff, but all we're doing here in this chunk of code is trying to interface with the Chrome API and asking the Chrome, hey, what's like the tab I'm on? And there's a way where you can interface that by basically doing chrome.tab.get tab or something. Tabs.query. And if you see like current window, that means like give me the tab or the ID or the page for the tab I'm on right now. And so by setting this Boolean as true, you get the tab you're on right now, which is get.com. So it sends you get.com, into popup.html. So this is, and popup.html is also configured by popup.javascript. So they're both interacting with one another. So you just got this information in your JavaScript file. And by using, and the way you get this is by just doing, give me the URL for the current tab. And 0 in this case means the one I'm on right now. 1 would mean the second one from the tab I'm on right now. So so this would be 0, this would be 1, this would be 2, and so on and so forth. I think so. I'm not an expert on this. I just built this in my free time, and I'm just talking about it. So now we got the link. Now we're trying to find out how many times you've visited this link over the course of the past year. And it's the same thing, it's the same concept as you doing Command Y or Control H when you click on your history or go to your history and search for get.com and find everything related to get.com. And if you go to Zoom, you see there's this function called launch, which all it does is pretty trivial. It goes to chrome.history. That's another method. And there's this function called get visits. And it accepts one parameter, URL, which is supplied by the previous function. And all it does is it saves all the times you visited that URL in, it just saves all the number of times you visited that URL. And to get that, you just do chrome.history.getVisits. Super simple, one method call. And you can ignore all of this. So by default, if I actually console log this, this is just a quick digression, but has anyone here used or heard of OpenAI Copilot? Okay, so let me show you something cool. And you can tell I'm not good at presenting. I'm just like distracted right now. But let's say that I wanted to write a function or just say something like print the URL. And so now look at this. If I do tab, it automatically printed the URL and it automatically printed visits. So Copilot is this AI-based code completion API that allows you to automatically write code. And don't try this at home, but I've done this for my elite coding interviews where I was given this coding interview and I just copied that chunk of this problem statement, put it up on like a JavaScript interpreter, like or .js file. And this is like all the instructions for the code and let it automatically finish the code for me. And it actually works like most of the time. So it's pretty cool. So one example is like write a function.
Crazy. Dude, what the?
So I can help it. You know, sometimes it doesn't get it right. So I can do return. Do you see this?
Bro, what is that?
Yeah.
Did you not know this? Wait, where?
Okay. So okay, let me just try to explain it. So the way this works, so I don't know what Mantech or the other company is doing for NLP presentation tomorrow, but I can almost guarantee it's not going to be as cool as this. And what the way this works is it. So you guys all use autocomplete, right? Whenever I type something, it returns the next word. And this is all it's doing here. I am typing in some information, I'm giving it some data, and it's just trying to complete it. So this is like code generation. It's all it's doing is trying to find the next word given the past history. So, and more mathematically, this is what we call like given some past data. So it's like a Bayesian like function, like given some history, predict the next item. And it uses, so if you're familiar with like Bayes nets, the problem with Bayes nets is it ignores the past as independent given the present. But when you write code, the first word has some dependence to the second, third word. They're not all independent of one another. And there's like a bunch of like cool ML algorithms that incorporate all these unique structures. And OpenAI, this company that Microsoft is in partnership with, spent like $10 to $20 million building this algorithm, and it works pretty well. And this is all it does. It just auto completes code. And I can actually do, okay, this is gonna
Can you return like a recursive function or something?
yeah. So it's it doesn't like auto check it for you. It just like finds the next. It's just like auto complete.
Oh my god.
Wait, did you say you did this in an interview?
Yeah, I did this in an interview. It was for Scale.ai, which is another AI company. So I used AI to solve AI, which is
Really?
yeah.
How'd that go?
Oh, I went to the final round. So
Oh, really?
yeah. Yeah. So okay, let me log into LeetCode and I'll show you. So let me go to LeetCode and I'll find this, the simplest problem, two-sum.
That's like the toughest one.
No, this one's the easiest. So has everyone here has heard of two-sum use? Okay, cool. So now I'll type in the problem information. Okay, you all see this? And I'll just
Isn't it the one where you have to map?
yeah. So I'll just give it the name of the function. Okay.
Find the solution.
Okay, now it gave me a bunch of code, but let's test it if it's actually correct. So I'll replace their function with my code and let me run it. Okay, now if I submit, accept it.
Dude, how does it know the answer?
So it was trained on public data. So
Oh, okay.
So if you ever used GitHub before and you had public code on GitHub, it used your data, which has a lot of implications. But yeah.
Ethical issues. Let's say,
Yeah.
for example, someone would put malicious code that was free for everyone on GitHub. They could easily make code that would say,
Yeah. So it's actually easier this is a very like simple solution, which is you forget about it. And the reason for that is if you look at the number of lines of code that are supposedly malicious versus similar domain lines of code that aren't malicious, the model will sort of generalize to the code that isn't malicious just because there's a higher frequency of that. So if I give it like incorrect solution for twosome, but there are like 10,000 other developers who wrote twosome publicly, and I take the average, most likely it's going to be from the correct solution. I can't, you gotta speak up. Speak up. I can't hear you.
Oh, is it currently in, so GitHub Copilot, is it currently in beta right now, or is it still, like, is it still being trained?
I don't know. I have access to it. So
So wait, with the Copilot, does it have like pool info from like an authorized source of like information, or is it just using like GitHub like in its entirety?
the latter, all the public repositories. Yeah, so okay, this is where things get a little, scary. I have been able to extract passwords for random people on the internet just by probing the model to give me the right information. So let's say I open up a new file. I call this, so I use Python all the time, so that's why I'm not the best at JavaScript. But let's say I do like test.py, and I will say something like, no, so all I did was I probed the model to type in, I just gave the model the first 5 letters, Andre Katharpi. Andre Katharpi is the lead senior engineer for Tesla Autopilot. And it just gave me a file. This is his private repository probably, or a file that he created years ago. And I know this file. And from here, I can get some information. Oh, he worked on recurrent neural networks. That was probably something he did in his PhD. So I have a bunch of information just by probing the model with 5 characters. And I can do something like, there's a lot of fun things you can do with it, like, I'm feeling I should. Oh, well, I don't think I'll be. So what ended up happening was there was some person who said something similar, and they said, I'm feeling depressed, I should, and the model said, kill myself. So you don't want your model to, say that, especially to someone who's, has a symptom. So there's a lot of like problems with this in general, but there's a lot of like excitement. And everyone who tells you that, oh, this is going to replace programmers, that's never going to happen, because these models, and as someone who researches ML on a daily basis, these models are on an intelligence level exponentially dumber than the cockroach in your kitchen. So you don't need to worry about them anytime soon.
So is this like, can this be used for like sentiment analysis?
Yeah, you can do like anything with it, like how am I?
Like you can just like reframe or something. Just like,
Yeah.
do you mind doing that?
I don't know if it's been updated. Oh. Oh, ooh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, okay, let's go back to,
Dude, this is cool.
yeah, this is cool.
This is average sentiment analysis, right?
It depends. I've never tested this, but yeah. Yeah. Okay, so just so that I have everyone's attention, I think I'm way off time, but so I doubt, okay, I've been part of these workshops before and it's like you barely learn anything new, but I hope this was something interesting. And okay, cool, thanks. And another shameless plug, I'm doing a startup right now. It's a side part, not really side, but if you go to tinyurl.com/Zogna-link, you'd be directed to another Chrome extension I built.
I actually tried that link. I don't think it works.
Oh God.
Honestly, just look up Zagana on Chrome extensions and
Oh yeah, yeah. I think
It's a pretty cool software, like an extension.
Xogna. Let me put it up on chat. Okay. So what's Zogna? Okay. So Zogna is trying to solve or curb the spread of misinformation. And I have this intuition, which is that people inherently care about having truthful data served to them, but most people, including myself, we don't do a good job of proactively finding or sourcing truthful information. And ever since COVID happened, it's misinformation has, you've been hearing more and more about misinformation. So what if we just allowed everyone else to crowdsource trust on the internet? Think about how on Reddit, when you see a post which has 80% downvotes, you are less likely to actually click on it. Or on the flip side, you are more likely to click on it just to see what the buzz is about. But now if you go to like YouTube tutorials, where the dislike is very high, this is before the YouTube dislike, it removed the dislike feature. But if you see a YouTube video with a lot of dislikes, you're not going to click on that tutorial. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create that functionality for the entirety of the internet. So let's say I type in meaning of life in Google, and using the latest extension that you guys built, I've searched meaning of life 244 times this month. And it's not because I'm facing existential dread. It's because I've been experimenting with Zogna, but the two are correlated. So this is what you see. It has automatically changed the view of different websites. It has ranked Wikipedia with a grade of C and different pages with different grades based on what I've searched. And if you look over here, bottom right, you see this icon. If I click on it, it tells me the percent credibility for google.com/meaning of life. So it's pretty credible. And you can easily upvote or downvote different websites. So let's say something like, so you should see the icon over here, and I should be able to upvote and downvote. So if I do like upvote, 85%. So now if I go back, it is now an A. It was like 70 something before, which is B, now it's an A. So that's what we're trying to do. So now here's where, give me one second. Here's where it gets interesting. Every time you upvote or downvote a website, you are making money. And in this case, it's a cryptocurrency. So this is synced to a crypto-based account, which we will launch in the next few months. And every time you vote on a website, you're accumulating some token, and you can exchange, in real dollars, or you can just keep accumulating until a certain point where either it's just going to be like Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency. And right now in our closed beta users, or 30 beta users, we are planning on distributing about $5,000 to everyone who's using it, and just trying to run this experiment and see how people are interacting with it. But for everyone else here, if you keep using this over the course of, let's say, the next few months, you would be able to start making money just by voting on different websites. And the idea is that by building a more credible internet, we would be able to curb the spread of misinformation. So that's, yeah, go ahead.
I'm wondering, do you have like a website where you have your roadmap or like your future plans for this crypto? And like,
Right.
are you actually planning on I guess like developing it for the future? Like,
Yeah.
Actually, it's not like a shitcoin.
Yeah, so, okay, that's an interesting question, because there's no way this could be turned into a pump and dump scheme purely because we don't have any insider allocation. So there's no incentive for us to actually make money from it. Everyone has, and this is like truly everyone on the internet has equal opportunity to this. Yeah, but as far as website goes, I don't have one right now. But if you just go to my website, I should have information. I mean, yeah. So right now I just have like information over here, but like, yeah, I'll keep updating it here. Yeah, so we do have like some funding from like a VC who's interested in like seeing how this thing goes. But yeah, that's sort of about it. And yeah, I actually do want you guys to use LeakHub. It really helps you guys. People have used it millions of times, as I've said before. And the last time someone used Leak, so this is kind of unethical, I guess. But the last time someone used my Chrome extension publicly was a minute ago. And this person, probably in India, yeah, she used it a minute ago, and I can see what she did with it. So she solved this Geek for Geeks problem, and this is the code she used. So yeah, this is like what my Chrome extension does, and it's been used millions of times. And
Oh, it loads it up onto your GitHub.
yeah,
That's why it's LeakHub.
yeah, it's like LeetCode, GitHub,
It
LeetCode.
automates the
Okay.
processing.
Yeah.
Like-
Oh, actually, I want to share this because this is really funny, and this got me into a lot of trouble. I almost got canceled on Reddit. So LeetHub, okay, this is really bad. I feel bad for saying this, but I'm gonna say it. Screw it. So LeetHub, there's another company that rhymes with LeetHub, which I'm not gonna say. You know.
Oh.
You know.
GitHub.
No, 4 letters. It's like almost Wordle, but so I used their logo. I combined their logo or the design for their logo as my logo. And when I first posted on Reddit, this was like a year ago, it shot up. Like the upvotes were like 500, and I was called like, oh, this guy's like the best at marketing. But I literally just went to Google Paint or like Microsoft Paint and just got like combined it, and everyone else were like they had they said like I was, you know, very misogynistic, et cetera, for using the thing, the logo of the thing, not the thing, the logo of the thing as a substitute for my logo. And so now I felt bad for doing that. And that was just to like create some buzz. And now the logo is very bland. It's literally GitHub and LeetCode inside it. So I nearly got canceled. Yeah. And the best part about this is it took me like 6 or 8 hours to build this whole thing. And I just open sourced it, and like 12 other people contributed to the project, and it's all them who really did it. But
Why don't you try red and black? So instead of orange and black, which.
yeah,
would be another
well,
website.
incidentally, it's still, it's still there.
Yeah. Just make it red.
Yeah, like it's still there. But sure, yeah. Dude, I really hope VT doesn't get me into trouble. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing.
It's too late now.
Oh, I forgot to record this meeting. I'm sorry.